So welcome everyone. Really excited to be here today. And we're talking about manifestation and what that looks like. Thanks so much for being here. Would any of you like to share what your experience is with the work and manifesting your dream life and what that means for you? Oh, you're muted, Danny.
Yeah. I really enjoy the ceremony. It was very beautiful and very profound. Like I feel like it really had everything very well said. How Colby and Keely, really expose everything like in a very unique way, like very perfect. And then my favorite part was pretty much like at the end how they wrap it up. And so it's like, because it like I had this feeling of like they leave you with this peace, and it's like and that's what I feel like every, with the feeling of every sermon is like, you go high because you are receiving like new information and you are really nurturing yourself, but then you ground, and that's how you can actually transcend. And so that's something that Colby said, like how you this journey is about, grounding. And yeah, of course you get high, right, but you also grounded, and because you grounded, it actually works. So I feel that, the sermon really help all of us ground what it truly means to like manifest the life of our dreams. And I love that this work of Shaleia, it's all about, you already have it, like it's within you. And so you're just connecting with what you want, what that's already there. But you have to go through a path, you have to heal, you have to be willing to go through all of those challenges that are in the way of you aligning to your dreams, right? Because to me, dreams are, like Reverend Shalia have taught us, like our dreams are something that are already there, because that's what God wants from us. And so they are there, but we need to align to them, right? Like, and in order for us to align to them, we need to purify our consciousness. And that's what Colby and Keely said, right? Like, this is a path of purifying your consciousness. And so the more you purify your consciousness, the closer you are to your dreams, the closer you are to everything that you want. And I love how they share like also like a part of their story, because like I resonated a lot with that. Like I remember writing my love list back when I first met Ian, my twin flame, and writing like, oh, like I would love to be dating this guy, and like I feel like this could be my twin flame, and I would love to have like a home with him, and like just share a beautiful place. And so now I am there, right? Like that the background, it's my home with my twin flame. I manifested this through this work, through through purifying my consciousness, and through my constant choice of going deeper into that path. And so I feel like it's also like about getting out of your comfort zone, because you do need to get out of your comfort zone in order for you to get what you want. Like you need to be, you need to accept that like you need to change, that there's some things that you need to let go, that there are patterns that are no longer serving you, that like, or maybe there are people who's no longer aligned with you, or that maybe you have to approach people that you love differently because now you've changed. And so there are so many things in the way that are part of this purifying path decision. But when you see it from a place of peace and love, you realize that all of these things and challenges that you go through are actually blessings. And so there is no way of losing. You cannot really lose in this path. So that's what I'm like taking, and like that's what I'm really going deeper with. And I feel like also sometimes it's always important to take time to look back at our lives, because sometimes we are so like upset that we don't have something that we want, and we don't realize that we already have something that we once wanted. So I feel like it's very safe to really recognize all of that, all of our like previous desire, and to see that like through healing we have achieved a lot. And then also something that Keely said was, you know, write your love list, and you know it's safe for you to do that. So I feel like that was very profound, and I feel like everybody should do that, you know, like I'm gonna do it, you know, like I'm gonna write my love list of what are my desires right now, so I can, you know, manifest them. And I know that I don't need to control, because you don't have to control anything in order to manifest anything. And so it's like you can just relax and surrender. So that's even juicier, because you can just go with God. You can just allow God to do everything for you, as you just, you know, heal yourself, as you keep, you know, clearing out the way, you know, clearing out the blocks that are on the way. And you can always choose to enjoy that purifying path, you know, like by surrendering, by not attaching to it, knowing that it's just something that it's, you know, coming and going. um Lately I've been like, you know, healing attachment to pain, and how like I was thinking like pain is real, you know, and that like because pain is real, then I'm gonna avoid pain. And it's insane, you know, it's insane, because and I was more like focused on like physical pain, but it's insane because even your body heals with you too. And so there like what I learned was like, you know, pain is not real. Pain is like just comes and goes, and it's not even real. And so it's just your consciousness that you're purifying to realize that it's only love is real, and that like pain, you know, whether it's physical or like, you know, emotional, it's part of your growing process, and it's not eternal. Like it passes, like at some point it's going to go away, because your eternal being is love. So the reason why I'm saying this, it's because I believe that it's very important to acknowledge this truth in order for people to go on this path, right? Like a lot of people are very afraid of taking on the ascension path, because they feel that it's gonna be awful, like it's gonna be like, oh my God, an eternal dark night of the soul. And I'm just gonna be, you know, numbing my feelings and keep living the life that I'm living, because that this is where it's better for me. And that's how pretty much, that's where like pretty much the consciousness is. But you know, the more we choose to heal, the more we move as a consciousness to, you know, to this acknowledge and this awareness that, you know, only love is real, and that by choosing to purify your consciousness, you're actually, you know, building already your heaven on earth, and you're actually having peace and happiness, because you don't attach to the experience. And what you're purifying, it's something that was already there. So it's not like you're going through like something bad, you know, it's something that was like very numbed. So you're finally completely letting go. So every time that like you're purifying something, it's just that letting go. And so I feel like this is a beautiful path, you know, like, and that's how you manifest, by knowing the truth. And I love like how Jeff and Shaleia, they are very logic. Jeff is very logic, and from that place he explains how God also works, and it's just logic, you know, like there is no way, like if you heal everything, there is no way of you not manifesting, because you're just aligning to energy. We are all energy, everything is energy. So you're just aligning to something that's already there. So I just love this topic, and I could keep going, guys, but like I feel like that's what I want to say. And like, how do you feel about it? Yeah.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved it a lot. I feel like it's so simple the way that they portrayed it, and it's just really, it's like giving us all a chance to deeply relax. I feel like before this journey, getting to my dreams was very like a very external process, and involved a lot of like pushing and straining and like just work and effort. And I feel like on this journey, it's just all about going within. It's all about identifying your desires. And then, like you said, removing what's in the way. And it's just, it's so beautiful. We get to do it together. Like they said, there's no figuring out. There's not all this like guesswork and confusion. Like we can just have our process have guidance along the way, share it with people, be supported. And it just feels really, really good. And it just puts us in a place to receive, which I think is just really, really beautiful to recognize that that's the way that we're created. We're not created to struggle. We're created to be supported and loved. And it's just amazing. I love that. I was on a walk recently and I was just sharing with God about a desire I have in my heart that I had some questions about, that I kind of wondered, like I wanted a sign, you know, to kind of know that God was tracking with me. And the coolest thing happened. This car went by, and on the side of the car it said, "Relax, it's done." And I was like, oh, like I just thought of that now because of what Colby and Keely said of, you know, it's already there. It's all in you. It's just being uncovered and unfolded, and you just get to open up more and more and receive it. So powerful stuff.
Yeah. I love something that you say that was like at the beginning, how you can connect with what you desire, you know. And so yeah, that's like, how do you guys feel, like how do you think that, like, you know, what could be helpful for you to connect with your desires? Because sometimes we want things, like we don't even know what we want, you know. We're just like, oh God, why are you not giving me this? But we're not really clear with our desires, so God cannot really give it. Yeah.
Well, like my experience with like that, like getting clear is just like, it's really just about being present with yourself and like kind of just getting to know yourself. Like for like my experience in high school, I really had no idea what I wanted to do. I had like, I wanted to be like a therapist, but also make movies. And also I wanted to like be a teacher. I had all these things like floating around, and I was like, I guess I have to choose one, but I don't know. And then I like started like getting to know myself and like just like seeing what I was attracted to, which not a lot of people take time to do. And then I was like, wow, I really love movies. And then I found spirituality, and then I was like, wow, I like want to combine these things. Like that's like how like I discovered my desires, just by being present with myself. And I did a lot of journaling that year too, to like get to know myself. And yeah, that was really, really helpful, just to like accelerate me on my like spiritual journey of manifesting what I wanted. And was able to recognize a lot of places where I was very dissatisfied in my life, especially my friendships. I was like, I don't like these people very much. I want like deeper connections. I wanted to really like have people who were there for me through and through. And then like found this work and found this community, and it's like, here we go.
Yeah, well, I want to share what a little bit my experience with kind of learning to be present with myself. That was actually one of my core blocks. And I was in, you know, a different career. You know, I teach dance, and that's my main, like the grounding. But I'm just really interested in a lot of things, and so I always knew that I would have, you know, other ways to help the world. And so I was really wanted to do like nutrition and fitness coaching. But I was in this cycle where I was working so much that I had no time. And that was like a self-worth block. Like I believed I was putting all of my energy into work because that's where I put my value. Like I have to be working to be of value. Whereas I want to be of value when I'm working, I shouldn't be draining my energy to the point where I don't even know myself. I don't know my compass. I don't know God. I can't trust, you know? And so I think the biggest thing is, and I'm going to kind of backtrack a little bit. I think, you know, we learn to not necessarily trust ourselves because sometimes we're choosing from our wounds instead of our really true like heart's desire. And the only way you know the difference is by exploring the experiences and realizing, oh my goodness, that was, I manifested something out of a wound. And I think that's why it's so important to do the inner work, to clear the energy, to raise your consciousness, so that we really start to learn to get clear on what our heart really desires, what we really believe is possible for us. And also, especially for those who have families that, my brother and I talk pretty regularly, we're very close, and he doesn't believe that you can have everything all at once. He believes that, you can have the career, but not the girl, but, he, and that's just where he's at in life. And for me, that's just not enough. I don't think God would give you all of these choices and all of these options to say, oh no, you can only have this amount of happiness. I don't believe, I really believe that we can create the absolute life of our dreams. And I love this work because, and I love what Colby said about falling back to the work, because when we are manifesting things from our wounds, we can recognize and say, oh, that's what that is. And then you can go back and say, okay, where am I hurting myself? Where am I attacking myself? Where am I being too hard on myself? Where am I gaslighting myself and not really honoring where I'm numb or upset? And now, 3-4 years in the journey, I'm realizing like how upset I really was. and and I'm still discovering more upsets for me to heal with God. But it's okay, because I have this work to fall back on, that when I am choosing from my wounds, I can recognize it and I can make a new choice. And that choice is more powerful than anything, because it's really easy for family and friends and people to dissuade you and say, oh, well, maybe that's, oh, your twin flames with someone else. Well, maybe it's time for you to move on. Like, well, but that's not true. I can really heal this, and I'm going to. So,
that's beautiful. Christy says, we're not created to struggle or to suffer. We are created to receive and feel supported, which I feel is, aligned to what you were saying right now. I love what you said, like, God wouldn't create us to have just a little amount of, happiness, and then like, oh, now I want to make you starve, like that's not God. I mean, I feel like the kingdom of God is is heaven, is harmony, is peace, is where you can access to everything, and you can just keep moving through it and keep creating that, keep expanding that, because the world needs that. The whole universe needs that expansion. And so I feel like it's safe to let go of control and really rely into the truth of this constant expansion with God, where everything is always happening, and we're always manifesting things. And some of the blogs that I really had to work through in my union with Ian before harmonious union was, you can have it all, you can have it all. Like, it was this place where I was like, I can't have it all. Like, there is no way I can be with this guy who is so perfect for me, who compliments me in every way, like no one before. Like, that's really having it all, And every time that I will heal my blocks towards being in harmonious union, it was that, it was at the core, it was, you can have it all. Like, it's safe, it's true. So it was just me releasing that again and again and again and again. And I just kept going, because you have to keep going again and again and again, because you are releasing something that you were believing, like a belief that you were holding on for so long. And so I just kept going again and again and again, until I was like, okay, it feels good now. I actually feel at the core that I can have it all and bring it on, and then that's when I manifested my harmonious union. And of course, with like other, of course, blogs and everything. But overall, I feel like it's something that we're always going deeper with. I'm still going deeper with that, because then you manifest harmonious union and they're like, oh, so now I want to have also my perfect home. But I guess that now because I have harmonious union, that's it, like, and I can't have it all, the home with my twin flame. So I feel like we're always going deeper into this, like healing the illusion that we can't have it all, that we cannot manifest our perfect life with God. And it's safe to keep going again and again and again into this healing, because we're always going deeper. And it's not that like we're just like wasting time, in not at all. Like we're actually manifesting every time we're healing it. So I feel like that's about it. And that's also something that Keely said, how Jeff and Shaleia are always repeating the same thing again and again and again. Classes again, the same thing. It's all about, you can have it all, you can live your heaven on earth. Because manifesting your desires, I feel like it's all about that, like living your heaven on earth, and realizing that you can actually live your heaven on earth. And so God cannot give you if you don't feel like you are worthy of receiving, or if you feel like it's impossible, right? So that's why we have to kill the idea that we cannot have it all, so we can have it all. We can keep manifesting that in a very compassionate way for each of us. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love how you put that, Danny. And I remember Jose and Michaela saying that too, that it's safe to desire a lot and not to settle, and that God puts all those desires in our hearts in order that we can receive them. And I feel like the more that we can relax into that, like the more that we're allowing God to expand too. If I'm just settling for one dream and I get there and that's it, like how abundant is God really? Like that's just showing my own, poverty consciousness. But if I can trust that, God's love is limitless, God's support is limitless, then I'm really embracing all that God is offering, which is everything.
Beautiful.
One thing that came up for me when Danny was speaking is like about how compassionate it is, like how we are moving through this like at our own pace and everything. I was just like thinking like God's not going to give you like a castle out of the blue and like everything you ever wanted like right here right now. Like he could do that like if you were really open to it, but that would be extremely like whoa. Like I don't like we're slowly like building like our receiving abilities in a really grounded way, so we don't like get super high and like kind of just like die, I don't know if you'll die, but like you get what I mean. But yeah, I think that's like something that's really something to value is like God knows us really well and is like helping us like every step of the way to like have our ultimate dream, and like taking those steps like each day to achieve that. But like you don't need to like get upset if it's like not like happening like right now, like the next day. Like it's the process, it's the journey that is what's really fulfilling. It's not like you have the end goal tomorrow and you're like, okay. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like it's God's way, like that's it. It's God's way. And like I feel like once you know that you're gonna have what you want, then there is no reason for you to control. There is no reason for you to worry, because it's happening, so you can just relax and surrender, and then God will make sure that it happens. And like sometimes we're like, oh, why is it not happening? We'll get upset. And it's because it's not compassionate, because the most compassionate way, it's always God's way. And we don't need to, I feel like we don't even need to understand why, but we just need to trust that, and to know that, because God knows better, like, I mean, he created us, so he knows better, and he wants nothing but our happiness and our heaven on earth. So why wouldn't we just, trust? And of course, it's because the illusion of separation, and that's why, you know, that's where everything relies. But I mean, whenever we feel that we are trapped in an illusion, we can always use logic to, you know, get out of it and then stay in track. Don't abandon your peace, right? Like that's it. Like, we don't need to abandon our peace. There's no reason why. You know, I was healing through that too. When I had like my coaching session with Jeff, I realized, like, you know, I was like, oh, my twin flame doesn't believe in God, and I don't know what else, and blah blah blah. You know, what else to do? And then Jeff was like, okay, let's just mirror this, you know. And I was like, okay. So it was like, oh, I'm abandoning my peace because I'm upset that my twin flame is not choosing God. So I'm upset with myself that I'm not choosing God. And how am I not choosing God? And then I was like, oh, like I'm working for God, right? Like, my life is devoted to God. But sometimes I don't put myself first. I don't put my peace first. And like, I just go and do something instead of me, you know, going to my peace first before I take action. And that's what we're learning. That's what we're deepening to, you know, like always going to peace, always, because control takes you out of it. So you can keep staying in a loop of hell. But when you let go of that, you go back to your peace, and then that's when things happen. That's when you manifest your desires, because you're actually open to receive them, because you now it's like, okay, this is what you needed to do. You needed to let go and surrender. Here, good job. Here it is, you know, keep going, keep surrendering more. And then here it is, you're ready now, you know, like, because I feel like, how can God really give us a desire if we are not ready? Like, if I'm like, oh, why am I not getting this? And then if I'm in that like an anxious place, and if God gives it to me, it's gonna be too overwhelming, and I'm gonna crash, like you were saying, Marley, right? So God knows exactly how He works. And so, yeah, I feel like it's all about like always humbling ourselves, you know. And God loves us anyway, whether we get upset, whether we go through this and that. Like, He's always there, waiting for us to humble, waiting for us to give up, to, you know, and give Him, surrender to Him. So I feel like this is about, you know, really a lot of surrendering. And yeah.
Yeah, like one thing that Colby said that I really resonated with is like he was talking about, like, what if you're like a musician, but like you're wondering like, why am I sitting here healing trauma? And that's like, so like, that's just God. That's like God showing you through the steps to achieve your dream, even though you're not looking like you're gonna be a musician tomorrow or whatever. Like, God wants you to be a musician. God wants you to do what you love. And this is like the grounded and logical steps to achieving that goal and achieving that dream. Like the same thing with me. Like, I have big dreams, and you know, they're not like I don't see like the clear like the full path, but like God is presenting like each step toward to me, and I'm like, oh, I see how that's leading me to this. I see how like God is so like intricate, and like the way He just like puts everything together just makes so much sense. Like, maybe you don't see like the whole thing happening, but like I see the path forward, and it's like, oh, I see what you're doing there, God. I see it.
Yeah, and I feel like it's this, you know, really when you're building a relationship with God, it's really, you know, I remember years ago, like there felt like this time lapse between what I wanted and how I was getting there. And I feel like, and even communication, there seemed to be a gap in communicating with Source. And so, and these days I feel like, you know, after just staying committed to the work, and my coaches keeping me committed, and my, you know, the community just really supporting me in the places that I wasn't being compassionate with myself, that that I was, you know, nowadays I feel like I ask something and I almost get immediate confirmation, or I'll get like an immediate sign of what is my next step? And really, I think God is really just wanting us to know him as much as he wants to really, like, you know, he desires us and our hearts as much as we desire to be close to God. And so, bless you. So I think it's just really powerful that staying grounded into the work, and, because a lot of the traumas and upsets that we have, sometimes we get upset with God for those, but really he's just waking us up to the truth that he's right there to guide us through it, and to heal it, because it was in our consciousness to heal. And I think that's one of the hardest lessons, is that God is really helping us to clarify our consciousness, and to really heal on a deep soul level, so that we're always ascending, whether it's this life or the next life. We're always ascending and growing, and helping others to do the same. So
Yeah, we have a comment from I don't know if I'm going to pronounce this name correct, so please correct me if I'm wrong, but it's a Poja, and she says, I have big dreams too. God will make them come true for me. And like, I love what she's saying there, because I feel like when Marley was sharing, like, I have big dreams and that, I was feeling like somehow I've been like numbing out some dreams that I have, because I was like, oh no, I don't see, like, okay, like maybe this was just like, this is not gonna happen, and like, I'm not gonna do it, and I don't choose to do that. I feel like this is really helping me to go deeper with that, and like not to numb any dream. There is no reason, because like it's like, oh, it's impossible, and nothing is impossible for God. Like I always dream, like, well, I always wanted to be, to help people. So I studied like psychology, and now I'm a coach, but I always wanted to be seen. Like I always wanted to be like in big audiences, and like really, preach in any way. And so I was like, oh, maybe that's not gonna happen. Like I don't want to put my attention there, because I don't want like popularity. Like I just want to serve God. Like, but I was like, somehow I was still not acknowledging that like I am a superstar. That like that's who I am. And so it's funny, because like when I recently went to do like, my hair with my stylist, and I showed him what I wanted, and he's like, oh, like this is cool, but maybe this is too much for you, because she's like a pop star and blah blah blah. And I'm like, no, do it, like that's not too much for me. And he was like, oh, okay, and then he was like, oh, actually you look very good, like you look. And I was like, yeah. And then I feel like it was me embracing my divinity, that like I'm here to shine, and it's safe to embrace that, and it's safe to, because like it's for God, and when it's for God, it's beautiful, and it's something to acknowledge. And yeah, so I feel like this sermon too was an invitation for us to go deeper with our dreams, with all of those dreams that we've been numbing out, and really connect to them, and like write them down, and like don't get obsessed with them, because then you kind of like, you're gonna miss what the journey. But just know that they are there, and that you can just relax and keep writing your goals. What do you want overall? What do you want now? And then just surrender and know that like, okay, this is it, I'm clear, and now I'm just gonna keep enjoying my journey, my healing and my ascension with God, and that's it.
I love that. I feel like, yeah, God was inviting you to partner with him, by highlighting your hair in that way. And it's so beautiful, and it's like you accepted that invitation, and everybody loves it. I mean, you look amazing. So
Thank you.
saying yes to all of those little invitations, and co-creating with God in the ways that God asks us to. And
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it,
oh, sorry.
go ahead.
I feel like it can be challenging, you know, because like, I mean, when he said like, oh, maybe it's too much, you know, and I was like, oh yeah, that's true. Like, you know, maybe don't do it like so like blonde, you know. And then he was like, okay, cool. And then they did it. And then when I look at it, I was like, no, this is not what God wants me to do. He wants me to go like all the way. And so I told him like, you know what, do it more. Like, this is not enough. And they were like, are you sure? Like, it's gonna look very blonde, like this part. And I was like, that's exactly what I want. And I felt like, yeah, that it was that invitation. And it can be challenging, you know, that it's God kind of like just taking you out, like grabbing you out from the illusion that you are not who you are. So I feel like it's always important to say yes to God, even if like that it's challenging, or you feel like, oh, I don't know, you know, like always say yes, because God knows why. And it's okay, you know, whatever also the upheaval is, because there's no need to attach to anything. So yeah, thank you for that though. Like, it feels very good. I received that.
One thing that Jeff has shared in classes or something is like, I remember him talking about like the game Legend of Zelda, and how like at first the protagonist, like Link, the guy, is just helping out farmers and like doing like random like tiny tasks, and then like you don't really know why he's doing those things, but they're getting him to the next level. Like they're there to like bring you to the next level, and then the next level is a little harder, and so on and so forth, until you reach that final like battle where you're like, you've been fully prepared the whole way along to get there. And then comes the next cycle of healing and the next cycle to like get you closer and closer to like your dreams. So I always love thinking about that. Like, it's like a very logical, like Colby and Keely said, it's very logical, this work. It's just bringing you to the next level each time. And yeah, it's like a game. It's cool.
I love that. That's very grounded too, you know, like it's always like a next cycle, and then you keep going deeper, and like the way you are putting Marley is very grounded, you know. And so that feels very good, because or like because that there's a reason why sometimes people seek for the high. But if you realize that like being in this cycle of keep going deeper in your ascension, that's actually very good. That's actually what you really want. And then you can really enjoy that. And it's not about like, oh, okay, so what's gonna be, you know, like, you know, it's just gonna be you embracing your divinity in a deeper level. And you can just keep going deeper and, you know, giving to God.
Yeah, I think it can be really, I think it'd be really challenging to like step out into the limelight and to really start to share your divinity and to share the light that's within us, because there's, you know, I don't know about you guys, but I've always, I loved biographies and autobiographies and hearing like the triumphs that people were able to overcome. So I could always be like, you know, even whatever was around me, my 3D experience with my family, and the limiting beliefs there, that I could always, oh, see, look, she did it. She's a one-armed gymnast. Look at her. Like, she can do it. I could do it too. And so it's really allowing us to let go of the limitations and letting go of these ideas and concepts that we can't have it all, because the truth is that we are fully, you know, faceted beings, right? We're not just this unilateral. We really are diamonds at our core. And in order for us to really shine and glow, we need good health. We need good nutrition. We need, you know, really stable friendships, you know, people who are going to support us and mirror back to us the real truth of us, and our possibility. You know, we need God. We need, you know, a divine partner. You know, all of these things that that really help to just have a really fulfilling life. And so that's what I love about this work, is it always brings me back to like, how can I overcome these challenges? How can I, and then, you know, it's so interesting the way that God orchestrates it. And I mean, I remember getting a notification in my inbox for like a speaking gig. And I was like, oh my gosh, this has my name all over it. And it just came to me, right? And I applied and I got it. And it was like, and it was a really big learning curve, because it was like 200 or 300 people at the Broncos Stadium. It was like a really professional gig. And I was like, whoa. And it was a huge learning experience, because I wasn't as prepared for it as I would have liked to. But I also didn't know like how to really prepare for something like that. But I think God's always preparing us for that next step or that next piece. And so no matter what our dreams are, we can always manifest what we want, and then learn how to step into it. I think that's the biggest piece, is not being afraid to make the steps forward to grow into that person that we want to be. Because I know several years ago, I was just terrified to step into my own divinity and my own light, and I just felt really comfortable hiding in the studio with my students. It was really safe. So, yeah.
That's beautiful.
What else, you guys?
So beautiful.
Yeah, anything else you'd like to share?
Yeah, I love that you say that, because I feel like that's another big teaching in this community, is just that it's safe to learn. It's safe to grow. It's safe to be a beginner. You know, it's safe to not know everything. And that's a very different lesson than the one we learn in the outside world, I feel, where we have to always have, you know, one up on everyone else. And here it's like, no, there's just a limitless ocean of what you can learn about yourself and your own heart and your relationship with God. And that's what's so beautiful. And I feel like that's really humbling too, is that when we can come from a beginner space and have humility, then we really can learn our lessons, you know, well on the journey.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
And for me, like the thing that really like helps me get through the challenges, like that's what everyone's really scared of when they encounter these things. It's a challenge. You're gonna have to be really uncomfortable in some points, and working through seemingly big emotions or obstacles. Knowing that love always wins is what gets you through, and having the faith. Because you will have to go through tough stuff, and you'll possibly question your faith. You'll possibly like question if God is truly helping you, or all these things, all these doubts will come up. But you have to push through and regain your faith and receive more of that faith, so you can really make it through. And then you do make it through. And I've experienced that many times. You always make it through. So, yeah. So cool. Like Jeff and Shaleia did a sermon about faith, and they talk a lot about that. I forget what it was called, but yeah, like God will test your faith again and again, and you will achieve more of that faith and more, so you're able to receive more and more of God. Just about building that relationship with him, and building that trust that you're safe and protected.
Yeah, and something that stood out to me too that Keely was talking about is like really claiming, yeah, what did she say? Like really claiming and making a choice and a decision about what it is that you desire. And, you know, I think this is so powerful in relationships. Like I remember over Thanksgiving and Christmas, I had to really set some strong boundaries with my brother because he was like really getting quite abusive. And so I really had to go within myself, and he actually, my brother helped me get to the next place of peace, like twice in a row he did. And we've actually been able to heal our relationship on a whole new level. And you never know how that's going to go until you really have the faith that it's okay to set boundaries. It's okay to claim what you truly desire and not allow anything that's out of your consciousness and your perfection in, just because you love someone or because of, it's really safe to trust that God will help you get through those challenging moments, and everyone is better on the other side of it. So I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's perfect. It makes me think of something that Jeff said in one of the Wednesday Ascension coaching classes. Like, the relationship is only ever you and God. You are the only two in all of existence. And it's only ever, saying yes to where God is leading, or, taking some time, and God waits for you. But yeah, even all of these challenges, all of these struggles that we encounter, like, it's only ever God, and there's always gifts in it. There's always deeper places that it's taking us to heal. So it's all good.
Renato says, it's good to see you all divine.
Wow. Sweet. That's really sweet.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, this has been great. Do you guys have anything else you'd like to share before we wrap up? Are there any more comments? Are we all good?
I feel complete, and we don't have more comments.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us. Those of you at home, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon. Take good care. Lots of love.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.